Hello, good evening, and welcome to Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu. Thank you for taking the time out to be part of tonight's program, especially in this season and this period that we are throughout the world regarding the issue of coronavirus. All we can do, all we have to do, is to follow the instructions from the health professionals and believe God for the best. Last week we were looking at personal accountability, and today we are continuing trying to round off the whole topic on accountability. But specifically today we're looking at embracing accountability. Embracing accountability. Last week we defined personal accountability as being willing to answer for the outcomes, for the results from your choices, from your behaviors, from your actions, and even from your words. Being prepared, being willing, being committed to be responsible, to give answers, to stand behind the results of your choices, of your behaviors, of your actions, and of your words. Personal accountability, like we said, is something that we all learn as we grow. As we go along in life, we learn it. No one is born with it, as it were, but over time, due to life issues and life encounters, as we meet people, as we exchange life with others, we'll start to learn the discipline of personal accountability. So, whether you're looking to make a wholesale change in your life where everything seems to be out of kilter and you want to bring everything back in line, or you just want to tweak your life here and there, a little bit here, a little bit there, change this, adjust that, and pay attention to that, there is power in personal accountability to take ownership of your life. Take ownership of your life, and that includes taking ownership of your words, of your choices, of your actions, of your behaviors, of everything about you, without making excuses, without looking for scapegoats, without looking for who to blame. The truth is, we will all have something or someone that we interact with, that we relate to, that we exchange things with, that can easily become our scapegoat, can easily become our excuse, or somebody to, or something to point a finger at. But ultimately, you and I must come to a point where we grow up, where we mature, where we take responsibility and be held accountable for our actions and our choices and our characters and everything. We must be willing, we must be ready, we must be committed primarily to hold ourselves accountable to ourselves, and secondarily to let others people hold us accountable to what we are and who we are. Now, I understand that accountability can be counterintuitive to our natural flair, because naturally we're all selfish. Naturally, everybody's got an element of pride in themselves. So accountability is not something that we default to naturally. It's not something that everybody's happy and dancing about. But you see, one of the differences between the successful people and the not so successful people in life comes down to embracing personal accountability. Because those who will go beyond the natural selfishness nature of man, those who will push beyond their personal pride and embrace accountability and be responsible and be held accountable for their choices, for their words, for their actions, for their characters, those are people that will experience the benefits of accountability in their lives. But the question then is, if accountability is this important, is this relevant to the quality of your life and my life. If we're saying accountability is such a pivotal aspect of your life and my life that we must pay attention to and take responsibilities for, why do we hate it so much? Why do we detest it? Why is it not something that we naturally embrace and default to? Why? Have you ever asked yourself, why is it that majority of us human beings, we like to do things, say things, make decisions, take actions, say, behave in certain ways? But when it comes to standing behind those choices that we made, when it comes to being accountable for those actions that we took, it's like, I just don't like this idea that I have to be accountable. But why is that? Well, I think I have some answers for you. Like I said earlier on, naturally, we're selfish and we're proud. Every human being, naturally, we're all selfish, we're all proud. Now, you may say, no, that doesn't relate to you. Maybe not now, but at some point, you were selfish, you were proud. It's a natural thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's a natural thing. So one of the reasons we hate or we don't like the idea of accountability is because, number one, it forces us to admit that we're not perfect. It forces on each and every one of us the admission that you are not all that you think of yourself to be. You are not as perfect as you portray, as you want us to believe. You are not as complete and rounded as you imagine. But unless you are accountable to yourself, unless you allow others to hold you accountable, you will continue the journey of life thinking and believing that you are something that you really not are. So accountability, it forces on each and every one of us to recognize, to realize, to come to a point of admitting that maybe, just maybe, you are not as perfect as you think you are. And that thought can make your mind trip on you. So that is one of the reasons why many of us, we don't like accountability. Another reason is accountability forces us to admit that we can't do everything on our own. We cannot be masters of everything just by ourselves. No man is an island. We all need other people in our lives. We need other effects in our lives. We need other materials in our lives. In you and by you with yourself, you are not enough. You by yourself, you can't do it all on your own. So when you hear people say, I'm a self-made millionaire, maybe you think so. Maybe you think you are self-made millionaire, but the reality is there is no such a thing as self-made millionaire. Because somewhere along the journey to you becoming that millionaire or billionaire or whatever it is, there were other factors that contributed to your success. There were other people that played pivotal roles in your journey, in the process of you becoming that millionaire. Let's start with your parents who gave birth to you. Let's start with that your nanny who taught you how to sit, hold you for your first step. Let's think about those teachers who were there to show you what 1, 2, 3, ABC looks like. Let's talk about the people, the lecturers at the university. Let's look at the community, the peace that the government provided. Let's look at what God, the God influence in your life. But then let's look at the people that are working for you, working with you, and working against you. All these people contributed to you becoming whatever you are right now. So before you are too quick to say you are a self-made millionaire, accountability, it puts you in the frame of mind that maybe I can't do this all by my own. Maybe I have not achieved all of this success all on my own, all by myself. Number 3 reason why we don't like accountability. It forces us to admit that naturally, human beings, we don't really want, we don't really desire to change. We would rather keep it as it is. We would rather just let the flow continue. We would rather keep the status quo. But accountability, the fact that you are going to be giving an answer and giving a report to somebody else, it forces a change of mind, a change of thinking, a change of behavior, a change of your word. It forces that on you. Number 1 reason why we don't like accountability is because it reminds us that we're not perfect. Number 2, it brings back home to us that we're not on our own. We couldn't have been on our own. We couldn't do everything by ourselves. Number 3, it forces you to want, to have to need to change. Oh dear. Have I just touched something very close to your pain point there? Is what I've just said, have I just painted a picture of who you are and how you are? Maybe it's painful. Maybe you think I am digging deep into your person. Maybe you wonder, how does he know a lot about me? Who's been talking to him about me? Good news, no one. Nobody. Do you know why? We are all in this together. I feel every of your ouch just like you are feeling it, because everything I'm saying about why we hate accountability, I feel it too, because I am as guilty as charged. And so does everyone else. But the good thing is we need to find a way to accommodate this pain, this seemingly uncomfortable feeling, because they are part and parcel of what will make us better men and better women. Like most things in life, that causes us to step out of our comfort zone, that forces us out of our shell, out of our clique, out of our zone, and make us uncomfortable. Accountability causes us, whether we like it or not, it forces us to grow up, to mature, to change in a powerful way, that when we look back, we will thank accountability for forcing that change on each and every one of us. So maybe in your life and in my life, maybe we've always struggled with the concept of change, the idea of making changes in different areas of your life. Maybe you need to be more disciplined with your money, more disciplined with your time, more reasonable with your reactions, and more thoughtful before you open your mouth. Maybe you are struggling to keep commitment and stick to a routine and start something and finish it. If any of that is going on in your life, maybe what you lack, maybe what you need. In fact, I will go as far as to say the main thing you need is personal accountability. Personal accountability, because when you are accountable, every need for change will come and you will have to embrace it, because you know you need this. Every discipline routine that you need to take on board. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's not comfortable. But because you know you need this for the next step, you'll have to admit to it. You'll have to accept it. You have to swallow it, even if you have to close your eyes in the process. And I'm going to give us quickly some reasons why we should embrace the practice of accountability. Why should we embrace? Why should we fall in love? Why should I admit? Why should I surrender myself to this thing, Tunde, that you're saying is painful, it's uncomfortable, it will pull you and push you and stretch you? Why should I then subject myself to the practice of it? Number one reason is because until you are accountable, every of your relationships will be shallow. Every of your interactions, every of your relationships will be on the surface. You know why many men don't have good friends and true friends and real friends? Many men have acquaintances and colleagues and work and co-workers and people, their neighbors, and people they go to football together and people they meet when they drop their children off at school. Many men don't have true friends, especially for a protracted period of time, because many men are not comfortable with being accountable, not comfortable with being open to other people, not willing to embrace vulnerability. Let me ask you, if you look back at some of the relationships and some of the friendships that you have had over the years, if you look back at them now, you will realize, truth be told, that some of them, you don't really know the person as much as you think, as much as you believe you know them. You don't. Because your knowledge of the person, what you know about the person, is on the surface. Because you are holding back from being accountable. They are holding back for being accountable. And so the two of you are just playing surface games. Now you might know the name of their wife, the birthday of their first child, which school their grandson is going. All of that are superficial. But do you know them? Do they know you at a deeper level, at a meaningful level? Do they know what you are dealing with, what you are struggling with? How much of your inner self do they know? How much of their inner life do you know? Because until your relationship gets to the point where it's not just hi and bye, then you know that it's not a relationship. You're just passing by each other. True relationship goes beyond the surface. It digs deep into the core of the person, into what makes that person that person. Well, you see, accountability demands of you to deepen your relationships. One of the greatest ways to deepen a relationship, whether it's with your spouse, your friend, your mentor, your pastor, is to be, number one, be authentic. Number two, be willing. Pay the price of vulnerability. Be open. Let these people know you for who you are, not who you say you are. Somebody said, celebration and what people say about you is what, how can I say this? Fame is what people say about you, but character is who you are, what you are. There are so many actors and actresses all over the place pretending to be one thing, but yet they are something else. But when you are open and authentic and committed to accountability, It deepens your relationship with the other person. It strengthens your hand in dealing with them, because you know that this person knows you. They know your strength. They know your weaknesses. They know where you're struggling. They know where you're winning. They also know what is ahead of you. But many of us would rather just talk about the weather and talk about the match last night and talk about the coronavirus or talk about this or that, rather than talk about ourselves. But you see, accountability demands of you and I to deepen our relationships. Number one, by being authentic. Number two, by willing to open up. And because many people don't do that, why don't you be the one to start? Why don't you be the one to take the first step? Now, the other person might not take up the challenge with you, but that's fine. More than anything, number one, you are getting to the root of who you are. Number two, you are putting the onus on the other person to either take up the baton or let it drop. But whichever way, you go away being a better person for investing in that relationship. And when you do that, you will find that your circle of friends will become smaller, but will become richer and stronger, because those who are in that closeness with you will be others who are also embracing this personal accountability, who are authentic, who are willing to open up and let you see what they are struggling with. So number one reason why you should embrace proper personal accountability, if nothing else, to deepen your relationship, to strengthen the hands of your friendship, to empower and to undergird the quality of the people in your life and in your circle. Number two reason why you should embrace personal accountability is because it strips you of that thing that I said that we all have: selfishness and pride. Selfishness and pride. When you make yourself accountable, when you embrace personal accountability, it immediately strips away personal pride from you. And the opposite of that, what it will give you in place of stripping those pride, is humility. Humility. By opening yourself up, being authentic, being real, being your person, being who you are, letting the person you are accountable to know where you are struggling, letting them know where you are weak, explaining to them where your strength lies, and the things in your life that you would like to change, you automatically empower them to help you along the way. And it helps you to lose the tight grip on pride and embrace humility. You see, you cannot carry a child, for instance, whose arms are folded. But when a child sees you and they spread their hands like that, they're saying, carry me, lift me, embrace me, hold me in your arm. It's the same thing. When you embrace accountability, it forces pride to get out of your life, and it brings in the sense of humility. Unfortunately, we all believe that, oh, well, if you let people know everything about you, they will take you for granted, they will undervalue you, they won't love you, they won't respect you, and this and this. And we use that as a cloak to protect ourselves, not knowing that we are doing ourselves even worse than all these other people can do. Or maybe you're afraid that, well, if I tell them the areas where I have weaknesses, or they will just know I'm just not that everything that I think that I am. You are not anyway. We've established that earlier on. Oh, it will make you unhappy. But you are not happy now, so what's the difference? Are you insecure? Sometimes it is the sense of being insecure that puts the burden, the great burden of carrying on with pride and selfishness rather than submit to accountability so that the pride can be taken away. Humility will come in. You will have people around you who can help you. When you practice personal accountability, when you are authentic about yourself and about everything around you, you will learn to, number one, love yourself for who you are. You don't need to pretend, you don't need to act, you don't need a mask, you don't need any secret in your closet. You are just as fresh as who you are. This is what they call what you see is what you get. For some of us, you maybe for the first time, you get to be you with all your flaws and all your beauty included, just who you are. Imagine the burden that will take away from your shoulders. Just living a life where you are who you are, not who you say or pretend to be. You should embrace accountability because it allows objective advice to come into your life. You see, one of the reasons that many people don't like accountability is because they don't want people to advise them. They don't want people to hold them accountable. They don't want to hear other people's criticism or feedbacks. Everybody likes to hide behind one excuse or another. Oh, well, I could have, I should have, I may have, I will, because of. Everybody's justifying this and, oh, I should have done that, but because of this. Well, this is the reason why this. And we give reasons and justification. But when you have somebody in your life, when you are accountable, when you are open and authentic to somebody who knows the areas where you are struggling, who recognizes your weaknesses and knows where you're driving towards, where your life needs to be, and what it will take to get to where you're going in with your weaknesses, what they will do is it brings a somebody behind you that can give you solid wisdom, perspective, and objective advice. Look, I know this is not your strength, but if you do it this way, if you approach it this way, if you say it this way, you will get a better result. But you could bury your head in the sand and pretend that you are everything that you are not and continue your life struggling with that same issue when all you need to do is to be open, authentic, and be accountable. When you allow someone else to know you for who you are, not who you say you are, not who you pretend to be, when they know you in your core, they will be in a better position to point out when you are making excuses for something you are supposed to be accountable for. They will help you to see the blind side. They will help you to appreciate where you are on your journey to where you're going. And the good news is the same way this person or these people have the ability to say, cut that foolishness out. You're just making excuses. That same set of people will be in a good place to tell you, I've been examining you. This is what I believe your strength is. This is how you can harness that strength. This is how you can apply it. This is how you can use it to propel you to the next stage. So it's not just about them looking for the faults in you. It's also helping you to become a better person. Because when somebody knows you for who you really are, they don't focus on your weaknesses. They only look for how to turn those weaknesses into strength and help you become a better person. why you should embrace accountability. Because it produces better results. Accountability produces excellent results. Because when you are accountable, when you are authentic, when you are responsible, when you have good people in your life, suddenly you get to where you are going quicker. You achieve what you want to achieve easier. You attain your expectation cheaper, because it's not just on you. You have a team of people and resources and wisdom and counsel and other things available to you that you cannot do, you cannot have by yourself. It's easy for you and I to break our own promises to ourselves, to fail in the goals that we've set for ourselves, and then make excuses for why we're not achieving them. We do that every day. But when you know that you have to give account to somebody else, somebody that knows you deep inside, knows you well enough, and you know you can't stand before that person, you can't stand in front of that person and give excuses, because you know they will slap the excuses out of your mouth because they know you are better than that. It forces you to put your back to it, to do the best, to give your best shot, to go the extra length. Because while you can excuse yourself for disappointing yourself, you don't want to disappoint the other person. So it forces you to become a better person. It forces you to dig deeper, to reach higher, to go further, to run faster. When you embrace accountability, there's a feeling of satisfaction that comes on you, because you just know that you have earned the result. You know that this did not come to me cheap. I gave it my blood, sweat, and guts. And there is no amount of money that can satisfy you deep on the inside than having a sense, a correct and accurate sense that I put my back to it and look what I've achieved. Oof. That is priceless. It is priceless. It is priceless. So, like we're saying, why you should embrace accountability, we said it deepens your relationship, it strips you of pride and brings in humility, it gives you creates an environment for you to receive objective advice and feedbacks, and ultimately you have a better result for it. But what do you have to do? What do you have to do to achieve these 4 key points? What do you do? How do you go about to unleash this power of personal accountability in your life, of taking ownership of your actions, of your decisions, of your choices, of your success and failures? How do you conjure the power to be able to do that? Number 1, you must redefine what accountability is for you. You must redefine what is the meaning of the word accountability, because it is different for each and every one of us. What you think, what you see, what you have come to associate with accountability is different from mine. Mine is different from his. His is different from hers. So for you, you must learn to define what is accountability to you. Because the mere mention, just by saying the word accountability, a lot of people, you see their fans just spread out. You see that wall of Jericho just immediately built up in front of them, because it's a reminder to them that they have to give report. It's a reminder, excuse me, that at some point they have to explain or justify their action, their decisions, and their words. It sends a message that you are going to be held answerable to somebody else. But what's wrong with that? What is wrong with you having people around you that helps you to stay on your goal and achieve your success? Why is that difficult? I think it's a good thing. I don't know about you. So in the course of redefining what accountability is for you, you must view your accountability, number one, as a gift to yourself. It's a gift to yourself. It's a voluntary mindset that sets you on the path to success. Don't see accountability as a bitter medicine that you have to swallow with your eyes closed and your face squeezed. Even though it might seem like that on the flesh, but see the benefit of it, that this is good for me. It's a gift that I have given to myself. It's a mindset. It's a pathway. It's the road, the map to that can lead me to success. Don't hate it. Embrace it. Don't despise it. Lay hold of it. Pursue it. So the first thing you must do to release the power of accountability in yourself is you must redefine the meaning of the word accountability. It's not all doom and gloom. Number two, when you think about accountability, like we said last week, there is courage, there is boldness, there is talent, and this and that will contribute to becoming successful. But all of them put together has nothing on you being personally accountable in terms of becoming successful. So when you think of being successful, or think of being accountable rather, look at it as if the whole of your life depends on it. What does that mean? When you think of accountability, just put your car into the gear of being solidly, unrepentantly determined. Develop a creativity mindset. And what that will do is, all of a sudden, it will open up a part of you that is full of solutions to the challenges that you are facing. But until you force yourself into that gear of determination and creativity mindset, you will not tap into that solution room. Because all along you think, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I don't have what it takes. I can't achieve that. People like me don't get that result. Why would I think? Why should I even be bothering myself that somebody like me from where I come from? I mean, do you not know that I'm a dropout of school? I'm from a single parent. I don't even know who my father, and on and on and on excuses that we can give. But when you turn that around and you see that if I I'm on this, in this canoe, on this creek now. No paddle. And the canoe is beginning to swing, to dance. If this thing tip over, it's either I'm going to swim or I'm going to sink. When your life depends on it, you will find a solution. When your life depends on it, you will come up with a new idea, a strategy that will give you something to save your skin and get you out of it. Now, you could say, well, today that is far-fetched because the issue we're talking about is not a life and death situation. So don't over-exaggerate. Don't create panic. Fine. Maybe it's not an issue of life and death. But could it be? Could it just be that your life, your happiness, and your success depends on this? Is that not something worth fighting for? So, if you want to release the accountability or to release the power of accountability in yourself, think about it as your life depends on it. Accountability. Number 3, you must think about it. You must want you must demand it, you must want it more than you don't want it. Oh yes, it's a bitter pill to swallow. I remember when we were growing up in Nigeria, if you have malaria fever, they'll give you Resushin or Camoquin or one of those things. I hate them with passion. Number 1, they are very bitter. Oh, I can even taste it now. They are bitter. Number 2, if you are allergic to them, yes, they will cure the fever, but they will leave you itching yourself and scratching yourself. All parts of your body will be itching day and night. And you could be in that state for the next 3 days. So it is bitter and it will leave you with itchiness. But guess what? It will cure the malaria fever. So when it comes to personal accountability, you must want it more than you don't want it. Everything in life will demand a price from you. There's no free lunch anywhere. It will demand you to pay a price. It will demand you to exert some energy, to put some effort, to show some patience, to devote some resources into it. You have to. You must. For you to get good result, you have to. To pass the exam, you know how many sleepless nights you had to do. To win the heart of that your sweetheart and your spouse, you know how many times you have to walk by their house in the rain and whistle as you pass their door in the sun and know the corner to go and wait for them and send this person, and you have to put all those efforts into it, but for one reason: you want them to see you, to know you, to receive you, to accept you. Naturally, people don't want to pay the price to get what they want, but there's no free lunch. Success in life comes when you hit a tipping point and you begin to desire your goal more than you dread the cost of reaching it. When you get to a point where the desire to attain, to achieve, to become is greater than the price that you have to pay for it, now you are ready to succeed. Now you are ready to succeed. You want want to release the power of accountability, you must bear in mind that every breakthrough requires a bold stroke. There has to be some oomph about you. There has to be some personal conviction about yourself. There has to be something on the inside of you that is bigger than whatever it is on the outside of you. You have to see what is not visible in order for you to do what is impossible. Excuse me. Remember the story of Jim Carrey? They were broke. Growing up, the family was broke. Broke as into broke. There was a time they were living in their van, the whole family in the van. That's broke. That's a time he was sleeping in the front garden of somebody else in a tent. That's broke. But somewhere, somehow, Jim always knew there is something bubbling up on the inside. There is something on the inside that has to come out, that needs to burst out. He knew there was something about his future that is bigger than this brokenness and this poverty that they live in. You all know the story. One day he took out his own checkbook with no farthing to his name, and he wrote himself a check for $10 million in favor of himself. And at the back he wrote, "This is payment for rendering an acting of movie or whatever services." He wrote himself a check for 10 million when he hadn't had a food for 2 days. But he knew there was something. There's a bigger Jim on the inside than this broke that is on the outside. And everywhere he went, he carried that check with him. He carried it with him. The rest, they say, is history. At the peak of his career, each movie that he is involved with, that he was the lead actor in, the least he received was $20 million. When you discover your own internal power, when you recognize that there is a bigger one on the inside of you, when you tap into the depth of the wealth that is laying dormant on the inside of you, and you know that you have the right, you have the ability, in fact, you owe yourself the obligation to create that reality, it will happen. You will find the strength, you will find the means, you will find the way to get it done. I was reading some time ago, I heard the story of the guy who wrote Star Wars. First one he wrote, took it everywhere. Nobody would listen to him. But look at Star Wars today. Sylvester Stallone, the same story. His father said, you're dead brain, you're not good for nothing. When he wrote his first movie, he took it everywhere. Nobody will touch it. But look at Sylvester Stallone today. There is something on the inside of each and every one of us that is bigger than what we're seeing right now. And we know it is there. But personal accountability puts the onus on you, puts the obligation on you, demand of you that you should reach deeper into that deposit and bring it out. Every successful man or woman at some point tapped into that well on the inside of them. And the rest today is story. Look at this guy, Mel Gibson, when he wrote The Passion of the Christ. Nobody wanted it. Thought, who's going to watch that? The rest is story. Black Panther, when they were preparing it, some people said, who's going to watch a movie that is only just black people in it? Nobody wants to see that. It is still on record today, one of the best income generating movie of all time. Because on the inside, personal accountability demands that you bring it out. You want to unleash the power of personal accountability as I close. Have the courage. Have the courage to demand, to expect, to ask people to give you feedbacks. Feedbacks. You can only see so far. You can only know so much. You can only meet so few. But when you have others lending you their eyes and their ears and their minds, one of you become 1,000. Because what you don't know, others know. What you can't see, they can see. What you can't reach, their hands are stretching to reach it for you. When you solicit advice and criticism from others, it creates accountability for you. It helps you because now you are asking people to give you feedback. They can't just give it to you and you file it away, and you file it away, and you file it away. They're not seeing anything different about you, even though they've given you 4 or 5 times feedback on the same thing. When you go back next time, they will say, sorry, I'm too busy. Feedback is the key to overcoming blind spots and achieving better results for your life and my life. But you must be willing to ask for it. You want to unleash the power of accountability. Ask yourself, am I a renter or am I an owner? Because your mindset, the way you relate to something that you own and something that you rent, completely different. Totally different. We care more for the things that we own. Not that we go about trashing the things we rent, no. But there is a sense of, this is mine, that comes on you when it is something that belongs to you. And so because of what you have invested in it, because of the connection you have with it, there is a relationship that demands more of you. So whenever you are faced with anything that demands accountability from you, ask yourself, am I going to handle this thing as an owner or as somebody that rented it, knowing that I'll use it for 2 days and return the car or whatever it is? If you are really committed to achieving your goal, go for it. Go all in. Hold no back. Push yourself. Do whatever it is required of you. You want to unleash the power of accountability. Be committed to do the job, do the work that requires. It's like you want to find gold in this place. You don't just sweep the surface and say, oh, there's gold. No. You dig deep. You dig deep. You shift a lot of dirt. You move a lot of things. And eventually, somehow, somewhere down the line, you might just find it. True success doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. It comes from within. So taking greater personal accountability is the key to succeeding in everything that you do. It's the key. It will help you. And it will help you to become a better man and a better woman. Excuse me. Thank you so much for being part of tonight's program. And I've said a lot of things, I've rolled out a lot of this and that. But in order for you and I to really get the juice out of this, go back and listen to this program and the one from last week. Bring the two together and you will become a better man and a better woman. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.